You cannot support your neurodivergent teen or young adult if you are burnout or running on empty. As cliche as it sounds, you must take care of yourself before you can be available to take care of your teen. In this episode, we're going to talk about how you can take care of yourself even when your teen is going through a time that they need extra support. Hey, I'm Crystal Wagner. I'm a life and parenting coach. I'm a late diagnosed autistic ADHD mom with 2 neurodivergent young adult daughters, and this recently happened to us. So I'll share some tips as we go through this episode. To start with, when your child was an infant, you probably expected to be in the trenches. You worked your schedule around what they would need and around the expectations of they're going to be up during the night. You need to plan less during the day. One thing that makes this season so challenging is that there's a lot of unexpected. In episode 3, we talked about thinking about your teen like a baby adult because they are acquiring new skills and learning to live in a new environment. It feels like it should be easier because they're adults, but they're not. They are still learning how to be adults. One of the most difficult things I found recently is that it comes and goes in waves. They may do fine for weeks to months at a time, and then suddenly they will have a week or more that they need intense support from you. That unpredictability makes it challenging for us to know what we can plan, how much space we need to have available for them, and what to expect as they're becoming adults. So it is important to take care of yourself so that you are available to support them. When this happened to us recently and my daughter needed a lot more of my support, I was telling a friend about this and she asked later in the week, "How are you doing?" And I thought about it a minute and I said, actually, I'm doing really well. I had worked really hard over the past few months on my nervous system and my emotional regulation because I had gone through some difficult, challenging times that taxed my system a little bit more, and I was trying to get re-regulated. So because I had made that effort, I had some emotional reserve to be available to my daughter. But if I had been burnout, I would not have been able to step up and help her when she needed it. By the weekend, I realized that this was actually more taxing on my system than I was realizing, and I was doing fine, but I needed to recharge myself so that I could be available to her because her needs were less than that critical moment, but they were still higher than they typically are. And so I need to be aware of what my needs are so that I can continue to be available to her. The best thing you can do to take care of yourself so that you're available to your teen is to be aware of your nervous system regulation and do things to help support it. So I'm going to give you a few tips that have helped me. One of the best books that I've read on this is Your Body is Your Brain by Amanda Blake. And I have a few more on my shelf to read. I haven't read them yet, so I will report back to you if those are also helpful. But anything you can find about regulating your nervous system will help you through this time. I created a workshop and YouTube series on somatic awareness using Amanda Blake's book and some other resources, other things I've learned in the past to pull that together. So I'll link to that playlist if that would be helpful. It was really good for me to learn all the different ways that I can listen to my body and use that information to calm myself, to restore my rest, my physical rest, mental rest, emotional rest. So there'll be some more tips in that. I also have the Pause and Listen resource that you can download. It has a guided meditation and breathing exercise to help you calm your nervous system and just sit in silence and recenter. It's also important to identify your triggers. What makes your nervous system rev up? What puts you into overdrive? For me, sound and smells are really overwhelming. I have to be very cognizant of the environments that I'm in. And if it's a loud environment, I probably need to wear my Flare Calmer attenuation filters. I'll leave a link for that if you've not heard of those. They help change the way the sound comes into your ears. So I have a pair of loop filters also, but I feel like I'm underwater when I'm wearing those. Things are muffled in addition to less loud. But the flare filters don't muffle. It reduces the volume a little bit when I have the attenuation pack into the calmer filter also, but it doesn't feel like I'm underwater. So that is really helpful in everyday situations, like when I go to church, whenever I'm at a mom's event. If I'm in a really loud situation, such as a dinner at our church or out at a restaurant, sometimes I will need to put the heavier loop filters in. They block out more, but they also kind of muffle. So I have to choose which one I need. But regardless, if I can reduce the amount of sound that's coming in, then my nervous system stays a little more regulated. I also know that if I'm in a situation where someone has on strong perfume or there's someone's burning leaves, I'm going to get a little more triggered, and I need to do some work to calm back down to get into an environment where that's not causing as much of a problem. So what triggers you? Everyone has different triggers of what increases your heart rate, makes your nervous system rev up. If you can identify those and work on reducing or eliminating your triggers, then your nervous system will be a little less revved up and it'll be a little easier to care for yourself. It's also important to breathe deeply, slowly, and intentionally. Doing this will help bring your system back into regulation. If you breathe out longer than you breathe in, that helps calm your system. So when you hear people say, take a deep breath, there's truth in that. I recently read Breath by James Nestor, and he talked about the importance of breathing slowly, breathing in through our nose and getting the full exhale out. And doing that really has helped calm my nervous system. I've been practicing that anytime I have had a few minutes that I'm just sitting around and I realize, oh, I could use this opportunity to breathe. If I'm sitting at the stoplight, when I'm doing dishes, as I'm laying in bed right before I go to sleep, I'm trying to intentionally breathe deep, slow breaths through my nose and just allow my body to calm down and to relax. Doing this intentionally also, I think, is helping my body internalize that so that I can have that as more of my resting state than to be all revved up. It's also important to listen to your body, especially as we get older, when we have more demands on our system. We need to listen. What are we capable of right now? And it may not be what we could do when our kids were younger. We may need more rest. There are days that I am exhausted physically, mentally, or emotionally, or all three, and I have to take a nap. And I have learned to give myself permission that this is not wasteful. This is not wasting my time. It's actually helping me to be more present, more productive, more available when I take a few moments to get the rest that my body needs. Maybe you need more sleep at night. Maybe it's drinking more water. Maybe you need to go for a walk and get out in nature. What is it that your body is telling you that you need so that you can calm down and get your nervous system regulated? Finally, have your own support system in place. You can be your child's support system, but if you don't have anybody supporting you, that can leave you vulnerable too. I have friends, coaches, massage therapists, my chiropractor, they all support me in helping me to stay grounded and regulated. Some of them, like my chiropractor and my massage therapist, help me by noticing what's happening in my body and helping me to regulate from that perspective. My friends and coaches allow me a safe space to talk about what's happening without judgment. And we've created this shared language of it's okay to be facing challenges. It's okay for our teens to be struggling and for us to be supporting them. It's okay for us to be wrestling with how much support do they need? When is it appropriate? When is it not? They come from a place of non-judgment and what do you need right now? How can I help you? How can I support you? Just like we're trying to do for our teens. So try to find a place that you can have that kind of support. If you don't have a coach and you would like to talk to me about support for you during these challenging times, I would love to talk with you about that. I do not bring in a one-size-fits-all solution and tell you what to do, but I provide a space for you to think through situations, for you to think about what you need and how you want to show up for your children. But if you can find a way to have that support network, you will be better supported. As we wrap up, I want to remind you to be patient. It takes a while for you to reset your nervous system. I've seen some things that talk about if you are going through autistic burnout, even if you're doing all the things to get your nervous system calmed down and to get into a better place, it can take 3 or 4 months. And even if you're not in burnout, your nervous system doesn't unwind quickly. It takes time for you to integrate these practices, for you to find the ways that help you to feel regulated, to feel supported, to feel calm. I've gone through multiple situations where it's taken me a month, 3 months, sometimes a year to really calm down, figure out what was going on, and get my system back into alignment. It didn't mean that the whole time I was stressed out and overwhelmed or burned out, but that I was not always in a place that I had extra to give. So be patient as you work on it, but know that everything that you do to help yourself will calm your nervous system, will help you to be more available to your children. As we close, I want to ask, what stood out to you today in this episode? What do you want to do to take care of yourself so that you can better support your teen? And I want to invite you, if it would be helpful, to consider joining our Brick by Brick session on finding your calm in the storm. It'll be an opportunity for you to use the LEGO Series Play methodology to explore what calm means to you, how you can incorporate that so that you can be emotionally regulated and be available to your teen. As always, I would encourage you to subscribe so you don't miss the episodes, leave a rating and review, and share this with someone that you know who could benefit. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next time.